Listen to me. Every single day you have a choice. Either you let life happen to you or you take control and demand more. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing exactly what questions will ignite your mind, focus your energy, and pull the best version of you to the surface. These aren't ordinary questions. They're life-changing, momentum-building, clarity-creating questions. Ask them daily and watch your decisions shift, your confidence soar, and your results explode. Stop waiting for the right moment. Start asking. Start changing. Because the moment you commit to these questions, your life will never, ever be the same. Let me tell you something. Most people never realize until it's too late. Your life is not shaped by your answers. It's shaped by the questions you ask, or the ones you never ask at all. Think about that for a moment. Every emotion you feel right now, every decision you made this week, every action you took or avoided, all of it started with a question running silently in your mind. And most of the time, you didn't choose that question. It just showed up uninvited, inherited from fear, habit, or past pain. Here's the truth. Human beings are meaning-making machines. The moment something happens, your brain instantly asks, what does this mean? And then it answers at lightning speed. That answer creates how you feel. How you feel drives what you do, and what you do, repeated over time, becomes your destiny. But if the question itself is weak, disempowering, or unconscious, the answer will sabotage you before you even know what hit you. Most people wake up every day and ask terrible questions. Questions like, why does this always happen to me? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? And those questions don't lead to solutions, they lead to suffering. Ask yourself a lousy question and your brain will give you a convincing, painful answer. Not because it's true, but because your brain's job is to answer whatever you ask it. It doesn't care if the question destroys you, it just responds. Now imagine this. Two people face the exact same problem, same circumstances, same pressure. One person collapses, the other rises. What's the difference? Not talent, not luck, not resources. The difference is the question they ask in that moment. One asks, why me? The other asks, how can I use this? Same event, completely different future. That's why nothing changes in your life until your questions change. You can read books, watch videos, listen to speeches, but if you keep asking the same questions, you'll keep getting the same results. Change the question and you interrupt the pattern. You break the emotional loop. You take back control. And here's what most people don't understand. Questions control focus. Whatever you ask consistently, you train your mind to look for it. If you ask what's wrong, your mind scans for problems. If you ask what's possible, your mind searches for opportunity. If you ask, what am I grateful for? Your body literally shifts its chemistry. This is not philosophy. This is how you're wired. Think about a time when you felt powerful, confident, unstoppable. I guarantee you were asking empowering questions, even if you didn't realize it. Questions like, what can I do right now? How can I make this work? What's the next step? And now think about a time you felt stuck or overwhelmed. Different questions, different state, different outcome. Your questions are the steering wheel of your life. And if you don't grab that wheel consciously, someone else will. Your past will. Your fear will. Your environment will. And you'll wonder why you're moving fast but going nowhere. This is why awareness is the first breakthrough. You have to catch yourself in the moment. You have to hear the question playing in your head and ask, is this question empowering me or imprisoning me? Because the moment you realize you're asking a better question, you've already begun to change. Most people think change requires massive effort. It doesn't. It requires precision. A small shift in a question asked daily can completely alter the direction of your life. Just like a plane leaving the runway, change the angle by 1 degree and you land in a completely different city. And let me be clear about something. This is not about being positive all the time. It's about being powerful. Empowering questions don't deny reality. They expand it. They don't pretend there's no problem. They demand a solution. They don't say everything is fine. They say, what can I do now to move forward? The most successful people in the world don't have fewer problems. They have better questions. When pressure hits, they don't ask, how do I escape this? They ask, how do I grow through this? That's the difference between a victim mindset and a creator mindset. And once you understand this, you realize something profound. You are never stuck. You're just asking a question that has no good answer. Change the question and suddenly new doors appear. Doors that were always there but invisible to you. So if you want to change your life, don't start with your goals. Start with your questions. Start with the ones you ask in the morning, the ones you ask when things go wrong, the ones you ask when no one is watching. Because those questions are shaping your identity, your habits, and your future, whether you like it or not. And the moment you decide to ask a better question is the moment you begin to take your power back. Every day you have a choice. Every single day, From the moment your eyes open, there is a decision to make. Will you let the circumstances of your life define you, or will you define the circumstances? And this is where most people stumble. They wait for the world to hand them permission. They wait for some magical alignment of luck or fate, and they wonder why their life feels like a roller coaster with more downs than ups. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you success, happiness, or fulfillment. It all begins and ends with you. When you ask yourself this question every single morning, what can I do today that will take full responsibility for my life? Everything shifts. You see, taking responsibility isn't just about admitting when you failed or accepting blame for what's gone wrong. It's deeper than that. It's about recognizing that you are the architect of your experience, the director of your story, and the commander of your actions. The moment you fully step into that reality, everything changes. It's not just empowering, it's liberating. Because now you understand that there is no outside force that can truly control your results unless you give it the power. Think about it. How often do we complain? How often do we point fingers at our circumstances, at other people, at the economy, or at our past? Every excuse is a subtle way of saying, I am powerless. But here's the secret. Power is always available to the person willing to take responsibility. Power doesn't live in luck or circumstance. Power lives in you, in the decisions you make, in the actions you take, and in your refusal to be defined by anything outside of yourself. When you take responsibility, you start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You start asking the question, what can I do differently right now, rather than lamenting what went wrong? And this is where transformation begins. You see, failure is not the enemy. In fact, failure is your greatest teacher, but only if you accept responsibility for it. Every time you fail and blame someone else, you remain stuck. You give away your power. But every time you fail and say, I will figure this out, I will learn, I will grow, you take another step forward and momentum begins to build in your favor. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine that every day for 1 week, you commit to asking yourself this question the moment you wake up. Imagine the impact it will have on your energy, your focus, and your decisions. Imagine that for 1 week, you refuse to blame, you refuse to complain, and you refuse to let external circumstances dictate your emotional state. By the end of that week, you won't recognize yourself. You will feel lighter, stronger, more capable, and more in control of your life than ever before. Taking responsibility also means taking ownership of your emotions. How often do we let anger, fear, or doubt drive our choices? How often do we allow other people's opinions or actions to shape our feelings and behavior? Here, the truth, emotions are not the enemy, but letting them control you is. When you take responsibility, you say, I choose my emotional state. I choose how I respond. I choose to act from clarity, not chaos. That one mindset change transforms not just your decisions, but your relationships, your career, and your overall experience of life. And here's something most people miss. Responsibility is not a burden. Responsibility is freedom. Freedom from excuses, freedom from waiting, freedom from being at the mercy of circumstances. When you take full responsibility, you stop being a victim and start being a creator. You see doors that others walk past. You see solutions that others miss. You see potential that others dismiss. And the beauty of it is this. The more responsibility you take, the more control you have, and the more life rewards you. Life doesn't punish responsibility, it honors it. But let's be honest, taking responsibility is uncomfortable at first. It's easier to blame someone else. It's easier to say it's not my fault. But comfort is not where growth happens. Growth happens when you step into discomfort, when you face your fears, when you admit, yes, I have a role in this. Yes, I am accountable. Yes, I can change it. And when you do, magic starts to happen. Opportunities appear, energy shifts, and your confidence skyrockets. You stop waiting for the world to hand you validation, and you start creating it for yourself. Here's the most powerful part. Taking responsibility compounds. One day leads to another. One action leads to momentum. One choice to show up fully leads to another. And before you know it, your life is no longer a series of random events, but a deliberate creation. You are no longer a passenger. You are the driver. You are no longer reacting to life. You are shaping it. And that is a feeling unlike any other. That is the feeling of true e-power. So today, ask yourself this. What am I responsible for that I've been avoiding? What actions can I take right now to move closer to the life I say I want? What part of my life am I giving away to excuses, fear, or blame? And then answer it. Take the action. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Don't wait for someone to hand you permission. It will never come. Step into your responsibility fully, boldly, unapologetically, and watch what happens. Because when you do, the world has no choice but to respond. And remember this, responsibility is not just about doing more, it's about being more. It's about showing up as the person capable of greatness, capable of growth, capable of creating results that others say are impossible. It's about waking up every day and saying, I am the author of my story. I am in charge of my destiny. I will no longer wait for life to happen to me. I will make it happen. And when you live like that, every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every setback becomes a lesson. And every day becomes a step closer to the life you've always wanted. So today and every day after, take responsibility, not half-heartedly, not when it's convenient, but fully, completely, with courage and with conviction. Because the moment you do, nothing, and I mean nothing, will ever be able to stop you. Every breakthrough, every life-changing transformation, every story of someone who has achieved what most people call impossible has one thing in common: massive, relentless action. Not hope, not luck, not talent, action. Most people misunderstand what it means to take action. They think action is doing a few things here and there when they feel inspired. But the truth is, action is not about inspiration. It's about commitment. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the world is against you, and even when the results seem invisible. That is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, and the ordinary from the extraordinary. When you ask yourself this question every morning, what massive action can I take today that moves me closer to my goals? You set a standard for your life that is non-negotiable. Because here's the reality. Ideas without action are nothing but fantasies. Plans without execution are dreams that never materialize. You can have all the knowledge, all the motivation, all the inspiration in the world, but if you don't act, if you don't show up consistently, you remain stuck in the same place. You remain trapped in the cycle of waiting, hoping, and wondering why life isn't moving fast enough for you. And let's be honest, taking massive action is uncomfortable. It pushes you outside your comfort zone. It demands more of you than you thought you had to give. It forces you to confront fear, doubt, and uncertainty head on. But here's the beautiful paradox. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. The moment you push through what feels uncomfortable, the moment you refuse to let fear dictate your choices, you expand your capacity. You grow stronger, more confident, more capable, and more prepared for the life you've always wanted. Consistency is the engine that drives massive action. Doing something great once is not enough. Doing something extraordinary once does not define you. What defines you is what you do day in and day out when no one is watching. It's the repeated commitment to showing up, even when it's hard, even when the results are slow, even when it feels like you're climbing a mountain that never ends. That is the difference between someone who achieves and someone who dreams. That is the power of daily action compounded over time. Think about it for a moment. What would happen if you took one action today that was bold, focused, and committed to your growth? What if you did it again tomorrow and the day after and the day after that? One action might feel small. Two actions might feel manageable. But 30 days of massive, consistent action, 90 days, 1 year, that's how lives are changed. That's how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. That's how you go from wishing for a better life to actually creating it. And here's the thing most people overlook. Action alone is not enough if it's not purposeful. Massive action must be aligned with your vision, your goals, and your values. It's not about being busy. It's about being effective. It's about taking steps that actually move the needle. It's about prioritizing the activities that matter most, that have the highest impact, and that bring you closer to the life you desire. Random activity will drain your energy. Purposeful action will build momentum, and momentum is unstoppable. Once it starts, doors open that you didn't even know existed, opportunities appear that you never imagined, and the results start to multiply in ways that feel almost magical. Let me tell you something that most people never understand. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is rarely luck. It's rarely intelligence. It's action taken when others are hesitant. It's effort when others are complacent. And it's a refusal to stop when the path gets hard. Action is a choice. Massive action is a commitment. And the combination of the two creates results that are undeniable. One of the most powerful ways to harness massive action is to break your goals into micro steps. Most people get overwhelmed by the enormity of what they want to achieve, so they freeze. But massive action isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing something significant consistently. It's about identifying the key tasks that will create the MOS, impact, and attacking them relentlessly. Every small step, every deliberate effort compounds over time. And before you know it, the mountain that once seemed insurmountable becomes climbable, and the goal that seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Another secret is accountability. Massive action thrives in the presence of accountability. Share your goals, set deadlines, and measure your progress. Don't just hope you'll follow through. Create systems that force you to follow through. When you know someone is watching, when you know you have to answer for your actions, excuses start to fade and commitment becomes real. And when commitment becomes real, results become unstoppable. And here's the most important point. Action breeds confidence. The more you act, the more you see that you are capable. The more you move forward. The more you realize that obstacles are temporary, that setbacks are lessons, and that you are stronger than you ever imagined. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you earn through doing. Every bold step, every deliberate move, every moment of showing up builds an unshakable belief in yourself. And that belief becomes fuel for the next action and the next and the next. So today, ask yourself this: what massive, purposeful action will I take right now that my future self will thank me for? What step can I take today that will move me closer to the life I say I want? What choice can I make that refuses to let fear, hesitation, or doubt hold me back? And then do it. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Take the action and take it consistently and watch how your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Because here's the undeniable truth. Action is the great equalizer. No matter your background, your circumstances, your age, or why, our resources, you can always take action. You can always choose to show up, to give your best, and to move forward. And when you do, the universe responds. Doors open, opportunities appear, people notice, your confidence grows, your momentum builds, and the life you've been dreaming of is no longer a dream, it's your reality. And remember, massive action is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. It is a commitment to showing up fully, to giving everything you have, and to refusing to settle for anything less than your potential. Every day is another chance to move closer to the life you desire. Every challenge is another opportunity to act boldly. Every setback is a signal to push harder, to act smarter, and to refuse to quit. And when you embrace massive action with consistency, nothing, and I mean nothing, will be able to stop you. One of the most powerful things you can do for your life is to take control of your focus, because where your focus goes, energy flows, and what you dwell on grows. Most people spend their lives trapped in the same cycle. They see problems everywhere. They ruminate on what's wrong. They worry about what might go wrong tomorrow, and they let fear and doubt dominate their thinking. And the worst part, they don't even realize it. They think that thinking about the problem is the same as solving it, but it isn't. The moment you shift your focus from the problem to the solution, everything changes. That's the moment true power begins. Ask yourself every day, where am I putting my attention? Because attention is everything. Attention determines action, action determines results, and results determine the quality of your life. When you constantly focus on problems, on setbacks, on what's missing, you are programming yourself to see more of the same. Your brain will find evidence to support the story you are telling it, and suddenly you're lie. Faith feels heavier, more difficult, and more out of control than it really is. But when you focus on solutions, on possibilities, on what you can do right now to move forward, you shift the entire trajectory of your life. Shifting your focus doesn't mean ignoring reality. It doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. Life will always have challenges. Life will always throw curveballs. But what it does mean is that you choose what to spend your energy on. You choose whether to invest your energy in complaining, worrying, and blaming, or in thinking creatively, taking action, and moving forward. And here's the thing. Energy spent complaining accomplishes nothing. Energy spent creating solutions changes everything. Think about someone you admire, someone who consistently gets results, who seems to handle life with confidence and resilience. I guarantee you they don't focus on problems. They notice them, yes. They acknowledge reality, yes. But their energy is always devoted to finding solutions, to figuring out the next step, to asking themselves, what can I do right now to move forward? That's what separates the people who live in frustration from the people who live in momentum. That's the secret that most people never learn, because it's easier to dwell on what's wrong than it is to take control of your mind and find a way forward. And make no mistake, taking control of your focus requires practice. Your mind is trained to notice danger, to obsess over failure, to imagine worst-case scenarios. It's wired that way for survival, but surviving is not the same as thriving. Thriving requires intention, requires discipline, and requires a relentless commitment to directing your focus where it serves you best. It requires asking yourself every day, am I focusing on what will move me forward, or am I dwelling on what holds me back? And the more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes until solution-oriented thinking is no longer a choice. It's your default mode. Now, here's something most people overlook. Focusing on solutions is not just about thinking positively. It's about thinking strategically. It's about asking yourself powerful questions that generate clarity and action. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what can I do right now to improve this situation? Instead of saying, I don't know how I'll get through this, you say, what's the very next step I can take to move forward? Questions like these force your mind out of the trap of negativity and into the realm of possibility. Questions like these create momentum. Questions like these make you unstoppable. And when you focus on solutions, you start to notice opportunities everywhere. You see doors where others see walls. You see options where others see dead ends. You see growth where others see failure. This is not magic. This is the power of a trained mind, a disciplined focus, and a commitment to shaping your reality rather than being shaped by it. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the more unstoppable you become. One of the most important habits you can develop is to catch yourself the moment your mind starts to spiral into problem-focused thinking. Maybe you're at work and a project isn't going the way you planned. Maybe a relationship isn't where you want it to be. Maybe you're facing financial stress, health challenges, or personal doubt. Notice it. Stop. Pause, and then ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now to move forward? That small, immediate question redirects your energy from helplessness to empowerment, from inaction to progress, and from frustration to possibility. And here's a critical insight. Your focus doesn't just affect your actions, it affects your emotions, your confidence, and your resilience. When you dwell on problems, you feel stressed, anxious, and small. When you focus on solutions, you feel capable, motivated, and powerful. Your emotions and your actions are connected. And by mastering where your focus goes, you master the quality of your entire life experience. This is why mindset is everything. Mindset isn't just thinking positively, it's choosing deliberately what you will notice, what you will value, and where you will spend your energy. Another key aspect of focusing on solutions is learning to ask yourself better questions every day. Instead of, why is this so hard? Ask, how can I make this easier? Instead of, why can't I succeed? Ask, what steps do I need to take to ensure I do succeed? Your brain will answer the questions you give it. The moment you ask better questions, you unlock better answers, and better answers lead to better results. And that, my friends, is the key to unstoppable growth. And here's the final point. Focusing on solutions is not something you do occasionally. It's a daily commitment. It's a practice that requires vigilance, awareness, and discipline. Every morning, ask yourself, where will I place my attention today? What problems will I transform into opportunities? Every night, reflect, did I focus on solutions or problems today? Did I give my energy to what matters or what doesn't? And over time, this practice compounds. Your focus sharpens, your results accelerate, your life transforms. So today and every day after, take control of your focus. Catch yourself when you drift into problem thinking. Ask better questions, seek solutions relentlessly, and notice how your energy, your results, and your confidence rise. The world responds to solution-focused people. Opportunities align with solution-focused people. Success gravitates to solution-focused people. And when you make this shift, there is no limit to what you can create. Every extraordinary life is built on habits. Every remarkable success story, every person who consistently achieves what others think is impossible has one thing in common. They do the small, consistent actions day after day without fail. They have rituals, they have habits, and they leverage them so powerfully that their life becomes unstoppable. Most people, though, overlook this. They think transformation happens in a moment, in a burst of inspiration, in a sudden breakthrough, but that is rarely true. Real transformation is built brick by brick, day after day, action after action, habit after habit. Think about it for a moment. What do you do every day? What are the patterns that run your life right now? Most people are blind to them. They follow routines, yes, but those routines don't serve them. They control them. They allow distraction, procrastination, and low-level thinking to dictate their results. But habits, when chosen consciously, have power. They automate excellence. They free your energy to focus on higher-level decisions. And when your habits are aligned with your goals, with your purpose, and with your daily questions, you create a momentum that is unstoppable. The first step to building unstoppable habits is awareness. You have to observe your current routines, your current patterns. What are you doing every day that supports your growth? What are you doing every day that holds you back? Awareness is the foundation of change. Without it, you are flying blind. But the moment you become aware of your patterns, you gain the ability to shift them, to design your life intentionally rather than leaving it to chance. Every habit you adopt is a vote for the person you want to become. Every habit you abandon is a vote against the life you desire. Next comes consistency. Habits are not powerful because they are glamorous or exciting. They are powerful because they are consistent. Small actions repeated day after day, week after week, month after month, compound over time. 1 extra hour of focus on your craft, repeated consistently, creates mastery. 1 conversation taken consistently to expand your network, repeated consistently, creates influence. 1 decision to exercise consistently, repeated consistently, transforms your body and your energy. These are not dramatic overnight miracles. They are deliberate, persistent choices, and persistence is everything. Another critical aspect of unstoppable habits is simplicity. People often overcomplicate their routines, thinking they need to do everything at once to see results. But the truth is, habits become unstoppable when they are simple, clear, and repeatable. Start small. Focus on the actions that will yield the biggest impact. Create a ritual that is easy to follow, that fits seamlessly into your day, and that you can sustain without relying on willpower alone. Willpower is limited, momentum is unlimited, and habits create momentum. One of the most powerful tools you can use is to anchor your habits to your daily questions. If every morning you ask yourself, what 3 questions will guide me today? And then immediately align your habits with the answers, you create an unbreakable cycle of focus, growth, and action. Your habits reinforce your questions, and your questions reinforce your habits. It becomes a feedback loop that elevates your life automatically. Imagine waking up every day with clarity, with intention, and with a set of habits designed to move you closer to your goals. That is not luck. That is strategy. That is power. That is unstoppable living. And here's the thing most people underestimate. Your environment either supports your habits or destroys them. You cannot rely on motivation alone. Motivation is fleeting. Habits are resilient because they are embedded into your environment. If you want to eat healthier, don't just rely on willpower. Fill your kitchen with nourishing food and remove the junk. If you want to exercise consistently, create a space or routine that makes it automatic. If you want to grow in knowledge, surround yourself with books, mentors, and people who elevate your thinking. The environment is the silent architect of your habits. Design it intentionally, and you will design your life intentionally. Accountability is another cornerstone. Habits thrive in the presence of accountability. Share your goals, your rituals, and your daily questions with someone who will hold you to them, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even a personal journal where you track your progress. The act of being accountable amplifies your commitment. It removes ambiguity. It eliminates excuses, and it accelerates results. Every habit reinforced by accountability compounds faster, becomes stronger, and becomes part of your identity rather than just something you try to do. And identity is the final, most powerful piece. Habits are not just actions. They are statements about who you are. Every time you stick to your habit, you are telling yourself, I am the kind of person who shows up. I am the kind of person who takes responsibility. I am the kind of person who follows through. And over time, that identity becomes unshakable. You stop seeing your actions as temporary or optional. They are part of who you are. They are part of your story. And the power of identity-based habits is that they create results effortlessly. You don't have to fight yourself every day. You simply act in alignment with who you know yourself to be. Now, here's the most important insight of all. Habits compound. The small, consistent actions you take today are the seed of your tomorrow. One decision to show up, one deliberate action, one intentional moment of growth repeated over time creates momentum that is unstoppable. It's like throwing a pebble into a river. At first, the ripple seems small, almost invisible, but as the ripples collide, as the water flows, as momentum builds, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Your habits, when aligned with your daily questions, when reinforced consistently, create that river of unstoppable progress in your life. So today and every day after, make a commitment to your habits. Observe your patterns, simplify your routines, anchor your actions to your questions, design your environment, build accountability, reinforce identity, and let the compounding power of habits take your life to places you once thought were impossible. Because when you do, there is no limit to what you can create, achieve, and become. Reflection is one of the most underestimated tools in life. Most people move through their days on autopilot, reacting to events, responding to situations, and getting caught in the chaos of life. They're busy, they're productive, and yet somehow they feel stuck. They're running fast but going nowhere. That's because reflection, the act of stopping, evaluating, and learning from your experiences, is missing. Reflection allows you to take stock of your progress, understand what's working, identify what isn't, and course correct before small mistakes become large regrets. Without reflection, action becomes random. With reflection, action becomes unstoppable. When you ask yourself every night, what did I do today that brought me closer to my goals? You begin to see your life through a new lens. Suddenly, every choice, every interaction, every decision becomes meaningful. You notice patterns. You notice progress. You notice growth. And even if today didn't go exactly as planned, you find lessons, opportunities, and insights that set you up for tomorrow. Reflection transforms ordinary experience into extraordinary learning. It is the bridge between action and mastery, between effort and results, between ambition and achievement. Reflection also cultivates gratitude. Most people underestimate the power of gratitude in sustaining momentum. When you pause at the end of the day and acknowledge what went right, what you accomplished, and even the small wins that others might overlook, you build confidence and energy. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you that you are capable, that you are growing, and that you have resources you may have ignored. And that shift in mindset fuels your motivation, your persistence, and your resilience. A grateful mind is a powerful mind, but reflection is not just about noticing success. It's also about facing challenges with honesty. It's about asking, where did I fall short today? Where did I let fear, procrastination, or distraction take the wheel? What can I learn from that? When you reflect honestly, without judgment, without excuses, you create clarity. You illuminate the gaps between where you are and where you want to be, and that clarity comes the fuel for improvement. Without reflection, mistakes repeat themselves. With reflection, every mistake becomes a lesson, and every lesson becomes a stepping stone to growth. Reflection combined with celebration is where the magic happens. Most people focus only on what's next, on what hasn't been done, and on what they haven't achieved. They neglect to celebrate progress, even small progress, and this creates a sense of chronic dissatisfaction. But when you celebrate even the tiniest steps forward, you reinforce positive behavior. You signal to your mind, your body, and your spirit that growth matters, that effort is recognized, and that achievement is possible. Celebration is not indulgence. It is a tool that compounds results over time. It keeps your energy high, your commitment strong, and your momentum unstoppable. One of the most powerful habits you can create is a nightly reflection ritual. Take 5, 10, or 15 minutes before bed to review your day. Ask yourself, what did I accomplish today? What challenges did I overcome? What lessons did I learn? What am I grateful for? Write it down, capture it, make it real, because what you write, you reinforce. What you reinforce, you repeat. And over time, this ritual transforms the way you live. It sharpens your focus, deepens your awareness, and strengthens your ability to create intentional results. Reflection is like a mirror for your soul. It shows you not only who you are today, but who you are becoming. And here's the critical insight most people miss. Reflection fuels momentum, but only if it leads to action. Reflection without action is introspection without impact. The purpose of reflection is to identify what to adjust, what to double down on, and what to release. It's a tool for optimization. It's a tool for acceleration. It's the secret to ensuring that every day, no matter how small, pushes you closer to your ultimate vision. And when reflection becomes a daily habit, when celebration becomes part of your practice, your life stops feeling like a random series of events, and D starts feeling like a deliberate, unstoppable creation. Another powerful benefit of reflection is self-awareness. The more you reflect, the more you understand yourself, your patterns, your triggers, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You begin to recognize the decisions that elevate you and the decisions that drain you. You begin to see the moments when you are in alignment with your goals and the moments when you are sabotaging your progress. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal power. Without it, you are a passenger. With it, you are the driver of your destiny. Reflection builds that awareness daily, and awareness fuels results like nothing else. And the beauty of reflection is that it reinforces your daily questions. When you ask yourself the right questions every morning and then reflect every night on your answers, you create a feedback loop that accelerates growth exponentially. What worked? What didn't? How can I improve tomorrow? Where did I take responsibility? Did I focus on solutions? Did I act consistently? Did my habits serve my purpose? These nightly questions paired with daily reflection create clarity, accountability, and momentum that compound relentlessly. It's not just a habit. It's a lifestyle of mastery. Celebration also transforms your energy. Every time you acknowledge progress, your brain releases chemicals that reinforce motivation and drive. Every time you recognize effort, your spirit lifts. And every time you reward yourself for moving closer to your vision, even in small ways, you strengthen the neural pathways that make you more likely to repeat those behaviors. Celebration is a multiplier. Reflection is a compass. Together, they create unstoppable momentum that propels you forward faster than you ever imagined. And here's the truth. Life will never be perfect. Challenges will come. Obstacles will appear. Setbacks will test your patience and your resolve. But reflection ensures that you are learning from every experience, growing from every difficulty, and celebrating every victory. It ensures that you are not living passively, waiting for life to happen, but actively creating the life you want. Reflection and celebration make you unstoppable because they give you awareness, clarity, and energy, all the tools you need to master the days, months, and years of your life. So today and every day after, make reflection a non-negotiable part of your life. Take stock of your wins, learn from your mistakes, and celebrate progress no matter how small. Ask yourself the tough questions and answer them honestly. Recognize growth, reward effort, and create momentum that cannot be stopped. Because when you combine reflection with celebration, you don't just move through life, you move powerfully, deliberately, and unshakably toward the life you are capable of creating.